Hi, everybody. Jennifer and Robin here with Hungry for More, and we are ready to dive into episode number 18 with you. And we titled it, I have to read this to make sure I get it right, uh, Meal Plan Mindset Busting Myths. And it's kind of funny because what we're going to talk about contradicts how we coached years ago. And before, we are here to acknowledge mindset. We're not here to teach you a particular plan to say, don't do that one, do this one, don't do that, do that, back and forth. We all know there's a million different things that people follow, and some have really adapted those and love them and love how they're eating. And some are just white knuckling through trying to get to the other side. Like there's all different types, but we're here to address the mindset around it. Because one thing, tell me if you've ever heard this saying, if you failed to plan, you plan to fail, right? If you don't make a plan, then you're planning on failing. If you don't prep, then you're going to fail. When I was coaching, I coached for several years. I would literally have a day called Prep for Success. And it was a weekend, and people would take pictures of all the foods that they prepped over the weekend to help them succeed through the next week. And it's not a bad thing. I like when my food is prepped. Heavens knows if I make a meal, I love having leftovers the next night because it's a lot less work. So prepping itself isn't a bad, it's not a problem. It's a great thing. Like we all prep in different ways. Some people prep just by getting up and saying, here's kind of the plan of what I'm planning on eating today. And that's their prep. Some people prep a week's worth of menus at a time. So they just aren't like every day, what am I doing for dinner? I don't know. Like they have the groceries there. And there's different things. But the way I was teaching it, I personally feel was teaching people that if you don't do this prep, the next week is going to be terrible. You're not going to stick to your plan.
Fail at this.
Might as well go off your plan because you did. And I saw that coming because I would get on these coaching calls. I'd have a whole team of people and I'd get on a coaching call and I'd hear somebody say, well, I had plans to prep over the weekend and I didn't. And so instead I just didn't worry about it this week. And I was like, okay, somewhere along the way, I was probably like, yeah, prepping is really important.
Yeah.
I have come to know. Robin, do you have similar experience before I move on with that?
Oh, yeah. I'm just here totally nodding along. Exactly. In my past time as the nutrition coach at these gyms, I really hit hard on the importance of meal prepping. And if you don't, you really are setting yourself up for failure. And so what we're speaking to here is not that meal prepping is a problem. Just like you said, it's a tool that we can use to make life easier. Some people have freezer meals ready to go, so they can just grab them and go. And the other examples you gave of the prepping for the week, or for myself, I love to make my grocery list on Sunday, order my groceries online, and pick them up on Monday. But what we're speaking to and what we want to correct is not to convince anyone to stop doing something that works for them.
Right.
What we want to correct is the mindset that can get us into trouble. And the belief that unless we plan, we are surely going to fail at this. Just like the example you gave, somebody saying, and we've heard this so many times too, yeah, I didn't have time to prep. I didn't have time to grab groceries, whatever. And so I had a rough week.
Yeah.
And that mindset is the cause of that. We think the reason we had the bad week of eating is because we weren't prepared with a meal plan. That is not why. The reason we spun out is because we believe that unless we're prepared, unless we have the plan ready, and unless we have everything stocked, then we can't be successful at this. This is the mindset that we need to correct.
Right. It actually makes me kind of giggle because I remember past life just, oh, here's the new plan I'm going to do. Here's my list of groceries.
Yeah.
Can't start it yet. I've got to go to the store and get this whole list. Then I'll be prepared and it's time to go.
Right.
And the problem with doing this is that the success that we have goes to the meal plan.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If I follow this meal plan, I'm going to be successful. It has nothing to do with you and what your body is telling you. It's what this piece of paper is telling you or this person is telling you. I am guilty of being the teller is what I'm telling you. Like I am swallowing my pride here and saying, I hope to undo that, moving forward because I understand that now. And it's so lovely. So here's the thing. For me, I eat a particular way and I love that way. And I continue forward with that. And sometimes I prep, or if I make a food that I really like, I make a lot so I can freeze it and it's available. But when that food isn't available and when I'm like, I'm so busy, I haven't had a chance to prep anything or do anything, what I've learned is to go, okay, So what are we going to do tonight? And I do the best with what I have. And I don't just say, well, I don't have anything. So now I'm just going to eat whatever. And since I'm already off, I'm going to just keep eating whatever until I'm back on. Right. It kind of stops that dead in its tracks. It's still, for me, it's still the checking in and saying, yes, I'm hungry. Okay. What do I have to work with? Or I'm out and about. What could I get? And it works out lovely. And it's no stress. And I haven't prepped a darn thing.
Exactly. So the beautiful thing about this, the great news is, if meal prepping helps you and is a great tool, continue doing that. If meal prepping is a burden on you and you don't like to do it, you can be successful, because we are taking away giving the credit to the meal plan for being the cause of our success and being the way to be successful. We're relieving the meal plan of that responsibility, and we can use it to our benefit if we want to, if it works for us. And we also can understand, but if I don't, or if I, like for me, I generally like to have a plan, like I said, a menu, my list, pick up the groceries, but I'm not on it every week. There's some Sundays I blow it off and I don't do that. And that doesn't mean now, because I didn't plan, that all is lost and, oh, well, I'll try again next week. In the meantime, I'll just do whatever I want or completely blow everything off. So we want to make sure you guys understand that we're not here saying that meal plans, we're not pro or against. It's a tool. It's a tool that you can use, and it can be a great and helpful tool to make your life easier. When I'm organized with it, I'm like, thanks, Robin. You just made life easier for me. I've got everything I need right here, and here we go. So it's a tool, but the way that we lose weight sustainably really has nothing to do with meal plans. Again, it's a tool we can use. The way is conscious eating. It's ourselves. So like you were saying, whether or not you happen to have had a plan, you're like, no problem, I got this. So walk us through that. What's the no problem, I got this look like when you don't have a plan?
Well, so, I mean, I have my brain with me, right? I have my mind. And so it's checking in to make sure I'm hungry. And if I am going, okay, what are we going to eat? And figuring it out and doing the best with what you have available to you. Sometimes for me, that's going out. I mean, we just got back from being out of town for 9 days. My refrigerator was empty. And I'm like, I definitely have no plan. And we had just come off a cruise. It would have been so easy for me to go, well, I kind of was off a little bit on the cruise. So let's just keep the vacation going and we'll do this
until I get stocked up again.
The funny thing is like, it took me a couple days to get stocked up again. But, no, right in that moment, I was able to kind of still stick to the way that I like to eat. And we did eat out. And it was okay. And it was actually delicious. So it's just checking in and making the best. If pasta isn't something normally you eat, but that's what's available for you, it's still using those hormones we talk about, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, and not going, well, I just had pasta. I might as well have this and this. And I'm not villainizing pasta. If you want pasta, have pasta. But I'm saying if it's off the norm of maybe what you would have done, and moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this is really important, because this is another feedback we get when we take a little poll with people and say what's challenging. And this is feedback we get sometimes, like, I don't have time to prep. I don't have time to meal prep. And so what's the point? So correcting the belief that you need a meal plan or to have food prepped, that it's a need in order to be successful. That's the mindset that's actually tripping you up. It's that belief where we think that belief is going to keep us safe. If we can just get ourselves on board with this and get ourselves organized and actually do this, we think that belief is going to be what sees us through, but it's shooting us in the foot.
Yeah.
So the good news is, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I love now going on a vacation and not feeling this need to pre-prep everything. I used to spend days getting stuff ready. And then what would happen is I would go on the vacation and I would have my special food, and then I would still have the other food.
Right. Eventually, like, forget it. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be, we get the FOMO.
Funny.
Yeah.
And so it's much different now. It's so nice.
Right. So let's wrap this up. I think the message here is very clear, that the meal plan itself is not what creates the success for you. It can be a tool that you use to aid you and to make life easier and to help you out. But what ultimately makes you successful is your willingness to stay conscious. It's to rely on those 3 hormones whose job it is to manage your weight. and to get your mind to pair up with your body, to know when you're hungry, to know when you're satisfied, and to listen, and then to stop eating in response to the mind hunger. That's really what is going to see you through. That's what needs to be sustainable. And the good news is, no matter where you've gone or where you're going or what's going on in your life, you have those things in place. You don't have to go externally and pick things up in order to get back on track. No, you just get your mind aware and connect to your body.
And your mind is always with you. So you can take your mind and body are together, right?
Exactly.
You've got the tools with you that you need.
Yes. So chew on that a little bit, you guys. I know sometimes we get really stuck on like, no, there's just no way. Like, I know me. And just, you can have appreciation for the tool, but just notice how much you're assigning the tool as the means for success. And that's loosen that up a little bit and bring that authority back to you. And it really changes things so that when the times come when you're like, oh, I'm not prepared with something, you're like, no problem. I got this. And you will.
You will. And you've got it with you no matter what.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.